Good afternoon, or depending on where you are, good day. This is political analysis. I haven't done a video in a while, but I would really love to start doing these videos. Actually, what prompted today's video is today is really about uh, South Africa. Well, not really about South Africa, but using the incidents in South Africa to discuss something uh, that comes up quite frequently across the world historically. That topic is the idea of it's generally a subset of xenophobia, but actually a subset of xenophobia. Let me explain. Often, a population in a particular area will often there is an influx of outsiders into a particular area, and often the indigenous people will. I'm trying to be sensitive here. The indigenous people will will become. Some will say jealous. Some will say um, restless with the newcomers, and often you hear things like they are taking our jobs, they are replacing us. They are driving. They're taking our opportunities. South Africa is, even though this has happened in South Africa recently, and we've all termed it xenophobia, it happens in quite a lot of places. In fact, it happens in Nigeria also. Now, let me explain this. I have a favorite story that I like to use when I explain this phenomenon. Because often you hear the indigenous people say, well, they should all leave. If they leave, we will replace them, we'll develop those businesses, we'll build those businesses. Actually, what has happened in South Africa is that a lot of those foreigners, black African foreigners, have closed down or left. And but indigenous black South Africans have not taken up the opportunity to actually replace them, to start those businesses, operate those businesses, and pay the rent and keep those places lively and contribute to the economy. When you read them online, many of them are actually sort of arrogant about the whole thing. Let them go. We're going to do this. We'll take over. The place is calm. It's clean. Well, I'm going to deal with that issue of the dichotomy in South Africa that is uh, between the whites and the blacks. I will deal with that in another topic, but this one is mostly about uh, let them go and we're going to replace them. My favorite story is this. Before the Nigerian Civil War or Biafran War, Onitsha Main Market, called Main Market Onitsha, was deemed the largest market in West Africa. When the war started, and the federal troops, that's Nigerian troops, were approaching Onitsha, the traders, before they ran for the war to escape the advancing soldiers, destroyed the market, and ran, of course, like everybody else, ran for their lives. When federal troops entered Onitsha, I believe it was 1967, they entered Onitsha. They saw that most of the market had been destroyed. And of course, the traders destroyed the market so that the soldiers couldn't get anything out of the market, in a sort of scorched earth tactics in reverse, sort of. When the soldiers got to Onitsha Main Market, they found that the market had been destroyed. And out of annoyance, they set the market on fire to further destroy it. Now, this market was totally destroyed until 1970, after the war. And everyone knows the story of how people came back with 20 pounds No matter how much money you had, you were invited to the bank and to bring your money, whatever. No matter how much money you had, you got 20 pounds for Igbo traders, for Igbos, a period, in order to begin life anew after the war. No sooner than the war ended, a few years later, I don't know exactly the year, Onitsha main market became again the largest market in West Africa. Now, what is significant about this is not that it became the largest market in West Africa, it's that there were 3 long years between 1967 and 1970, and no other community, no country in West Africa, no community in Nigeria could replace Onitsha main market as the largest market in West Africa. 3 long years at a minimum, no one could replace them. And the main market came back and became again the largest market in West Africa. And today, in 2026, it's still the largest market in West Africa. What's the moral of this story? The moral of this story is the theory of that's called the middleman minorities. Some groups are simply far more able doing certain things than other groups. And no matter how much what you think you can do, you'll never be able to do it. I think the South Africans are going to find out. And I pray that they find out. Of course, I pray to the detriment of those businessmen in South Africa. I share their grief. But I believe that if they leave, South Africans will find that they will not be able to replace those businesses in South Africa. I know that right now they are gloating, saying, they should leave, blah, 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 blah. Those businesses play a significant role in South Africa. And when they've been gone for some time, South Africans will learn that they cannot replace those businesses, and those businesses actually serve the people of South Africa and provide for the economy of South Africa. I think that's what I want to stop for today. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the channel and help me share the video. Thank you.